Peace to everyone. Thank you guys for joining me as we continue our observation of the celestials, of the spirit, of our hormones, of our families. And although it can seem like a lot, although it can seem like we doing a whole bunch, it is very, very simple, very natural. Um, and I'm just, your daily reporter on everything celestial and things of that nature. So, this is the weekly Astro Report podcast. Be sure to follow this podcast, the Hood in the Morning podcast, on all podcast streaming sites, whether it's Apple Music, Spotify. Just search for Hood Mystic. You don't gotta just listen to me on YouTube. You can actually listen to me on the go when you can't just watch YouTube when you at work. You got your headphones on. Be sure to look up this podcast. With that being said, shout out to the YouTube family. Shout out to the IG family. Shout out to the Facebook family. Shout out to the Pinterest family. Shout out to the family worldwide. Shout out to my family that's outside, doing their thing out in the world. Shout out to y'all. Hope everything is going well. But you know how I give it up? I'm about to talk about this spiritual miracle energy. So today we will be talking about the lovely, wonderful Venus opposed Uranus. This is giving me the Regina King and Dr. Manhattan love affair vibe. Then we have the Mars trine Saturn. This is giving me that point where Dr. Manhattan realized, hey, I'm Dr. Manhattan. I'm just not this dude flipping eggs, a single dad, a stay-at-home dad. I actually got magical power. So as we tune into our subjective, what we truly and deeply love without a shadow of a doubt, we also are waking up our psychic abilities. Because why do I even feel like I need you? Why do I even feel like I need to do this? Why am I reaching out to this person? So forth and so on. And then when it comes to me, Mars trine Saturn, of course, trines are not heavy. Trines do not just come up in your face like, hey, you can transform. They're very subtle, very low key, very relaxed. So with that being said, I just generally like reporting on trines and things of that nature to help the family out in areas which they may not be paying attention to. So overall, astrologically, we are coming off a full moon, moving into a waning moon. Well, not moving into a waning moon. We are immersed into a waning moon as we move into our upcoming new moon, which takes place in about 10 days or so. But with that being said, we do have some astrological light rumblings in the sky as we begin our weekend, begin to look at what we're about to do. Hopefully you're tuned in to yourself and not tuned in to what can happen externally. It's not to say that you don't do things externally, but you understand who you are as you engage with the external world. In reference to the external world, we should be dealing with a great harvest. What I mean by a great harvest is a great harvest of ideas as the sun conjuncts vertex into Mars. The things that you do now will have massive impacts for generations and generations to come. But you have to have the enterprising mindset. You have to have setting the seed, understanding that this is just not some situation or energy that's just going to take place right now. This is going to be a reverberating butterfly effect. Why? Because the sun is conjunct vertex. If you want to get any more deeper elaboration on vertex, check out our full moon in Pisces video. Following that, we have the sun conjunct Mars, and we'll talk about Mars trine Saturn because Mars is in sidereal Virgo. Saturn is in sidereal Saturn. So we have two earth signs and we have masculine energy in earth signs. So essentially what we're talking about is how testosterone influences the physical world. However, we're not in a space where we're just simply, hammering down, doing mindless things. Hopefully we can take our 16-year-old exuberant 16-year-old adolescent energy and bring some wisdom into it, and just not create any old thing, hang out with any old girl, hang out with any old boy, but really get that major thing that we're looking for. So to really get into the crux of what I'm going to be discussing today, we're talking about, are you living, or are you following, or have you answered your spiritual calling? Now, you might have a good job. You might have a cool little boo thing on the side, things of that nature, but the specific question with Venus opposed Uranus, Mars trine Saturn is, have you answered your spiritual calling? So Venus is in the third decan of sidereal Libra, where it's exalted, opposing Uranus in the third decan of Aries. Uranus is slow moving, and so this third decan of Aries is something that we have talked about. This particular Sabian symbol is something that we have talked about, particularly ad nauseum, if you have been paying attention to the content. And this specific energy that Uranus bring forth at this 20th degree Sabian symbol is the energy of alchemy. So specifically, can you take your filth and make it a diamond? Can you take your trauma and make it joy? Okay? Do you rest within your trauma and just take baths in your trauma? Wake up, put on trauma clothes, go to a trauma job, get in your trauma car, and never do any transmutation work? So these are the days, these are the breaks. So looking at this a little bit further, let's get into the stars. Venus holding it down in this energy of Libra, where Venus is exalted. I think specifically why Venus is exalted in sidereal Libra is because Libra is so damn small. It's not a big constellation. It's very simple to the point. And when you think about Venus being subjective love, you don't want everybody. It's impossible to want to have sex with 1 million people. In reference to a subjective love is not really enterprising, because in reference to enterprising, I would want to make $1 million, right? But I wouldn't want to have 1 million partners. Subjective is just singular. So it's more of a balancing act of love, where enterprise, you can kind of lean into your gifts, lean into your talents, lean into these things, and love is just not like that. Life is just not like that. Your emotions, your hormones, your homeostasis is not like that. You cannot say, I want my temperature to be 100,000 because I'm just turned up, or I just want to turn my temperature down to 0. No, you have to keep your temperature in balance. You have to keep your love life, your subjection in balance. So when you look at this week or this weekend, do you want everything? Do you want to do everything? Or are you saying some wild shit like, man, I just want to do so much with my business. I just want to do so many things. I'm so good at everything that I do, so I just want to do so many things. Venus in Libra is bringing one thing. Houdini got a great song. It's called One Love, and it goes like this. One love, you're lucky just to have just one love. You're lucky just to have one love. So how you balance your life is very much of how you kind of go through this energy. It's a lot of shit out here, but essentially, will you have all of the things? And so today, in going into tomorrow, the moon will be very close to Uranus in Aries, as we talked about this particular energy of alchemy. I do not care about what you've experienced in reference to the shit that you've experienced. Have you done alchemy? Have you transmuted it into a new energy? Have you took your negative energy and moved it into positive energy? Or have you just looked at your negative energy and said, I'm mad that I have negative energy. I don't know what I'm about to do with this negative energy. Uranus is awakening you to your ability to transmute that so you can come into new energy. So what are we talking about with this Venus oppose Uranus energy? Opposition naturally brings out tension, but that tension is to bring about holistic energy. You know, that girl that used to pick on you at school and things of that nature ended up liking you at the end of the day. That's more or less of an opposition. We always have a real relationship because there's good things in it and there's bad things in it. Such is life. And I say all of that to say, no matter what you have been through, your birthright is to do alchemy on that. Now, we can get into a list and a slew of things that references trauma. And a lot of the conversations that I will be having moving into the future based upon this astronomical alignment will be about how to deal with trauma. Because when you reference trauma, you're talking about a cyclical loop of things that are not happening, but you imagine them to happen. So when you're trying to establish successful relationships with people, love and professional things, if they're not able to address their trauma, they're not able to move forward. In a sense, we will be in a particular time loop, time warp. But when we're doing this alchemy, we're stepping out of that time loop, we're stepping out of that trauma, and we're stepping into our divinity, which is our birthright. You were born to tap into your divinity. You were born to tap into your power. You were not born to live an inferior life. You were not born to live a lonely life. So essentially, what is a birthright? When I reference your spiritual calling, that is the purpose of you tapping into the spirituality. So it is not a point of looking to people imagining that I'm a better person than you because I'm referencing spirituality. I just know what I'm called here to do. I'm just here answering my spiritual calling. I don't know who needs this video today, but I'm sure somebody needs it. Somebody thinks that they are inferior or not worthy to be divine. They think that they need to earn their divinity. They think they need to work hard to be divine. And that's like saying you need to work hard to have a left hand. Your left hand is important. Every time you masturbate, you use your left hand. That's a very important hand. However, you did not have to work hard to receive it. It just happened. So when you talk about your divinity, it is such. So all you have to do is walk, or even if you can't walk today, you are still divine. Remember to continue to awaken yourself to things about yourself that you simply do not know. That is Uranus, the planet of awakening. So essentially, with everything that I've experienced, everything that I know about myself, essentially, I do not know a damn thing. So essentially, I have to learn more about myself every single day. Every single day is about awakening to yourself. So if anybody will perpetuate a level of hierarchy, a level of leadership, that is a level of hustle. Understand. In the realms of spirituality, in the realms of root worker, if you build it, they will come. You don't have to perpetuate hierarchy. People can feel it and understand it by the work that you put in, family. So what is your birthright? Your birthright is the concept of things being due to a person upon or by the fact of their birth. Your birth is the actual result of your divinity, is the actual outcome of your divinity. And so you are simply coming down here or coming up here, depending on where you came from, to complete the mission that you have from your past life. But if you don't understand that you are a soul having a human experience, you will imagine that this life is your first life. And I'm going to just say this. If you imagine that this is your first life, then it's just a wrap for you. You might as well just get off my channel because you don't understand the process of the soul and reincarnation. It's hard for me to have a conversation with a person that think that this is just their first lifetime and it's like their millionth lifetime. It's almost like you just came into kindergarten and then I'm trying to teach you advanced trigonomics and you're like, I don't know how to do that. What do you mean you don't know how to do that? Don't you understand that you're a soul and you know all things? You are a divine scribe. You are an astrologer. You are a mystic. You are a magician. You are a goddess. You are all of these things or have been these things. And we're just trying to awaken you to the fact that you are these things. So you can understand your personal mission and then act on that. You can't come to me for your mission. You can't go to her for your past life. You have to go within yourself, but you can't be inferior or you can't feel like all of the trauma that you experience is blocking you from divinity or that you have to work hard to accomplish divine understanding. How hard did you have to work hard to learn how to walk? So simply, we are completing the mission from the past life, which can show up now as a business, getting your money together, or learning, going to school, or a spiritual pursuit activating your spiritual gifts such as psychic abilities, things of that nature. And if you can't understand your psychic nature, then it's because you're in a space of stress. So during this week with Venus opposing Uranus, there's not many things that one should be focused on. Because you focus on so many things and can't accomplish those things that you wish to accomplish, that will create the stress. Stress is telling you, don't do this. This ain't for you. When you honor your stress, you enter a realm into relaxation. When you do the things that don't honor your stress, but honor your relaxation, I said, do the things that honor your relaxation, such as work hard. Or not work hard in a sense of on some slave shit, but like work hard on a sense of working out. It's not to say that working out is easy, but the more that you work out, the more that you relieve your stress, the more that you honor your stress and saying, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to see you. I don't want you running my life. So I'm going to work out. And I understand that if I don't work out, it's going to create more and more conflicts where laziness and not being able to move forward will seem like a good thing, but essentially long term, it will create conflict. So doing the things now that a year from now, I can be on IG doing workout videos and things of that nature. It starts now. However, it's very important. I'm just using me as an example. But if you have negative tension, if you have clutter, if you have clumsiness, if you have distractions, if you think shit is supposed to work out a million different ways, you are sadly mistaken. You have to figure out who the fuck you are. Let me check the chat and I'll be right back. So I was listening to something a couple of weeks ago. You know how people be listening to shit on YouTube or whatever, and then they get on YouTube and be like, Spirit had told me. Spirit ain't told you shit. You was watching a YouTube video and heard somebody say some shit. Now you about to say it to your followers. But I digress. I was listening to somebody say something on YouTube and they were talking about, we were taught like what we are, not what we are or who we are, some form or fashion, but essentially we haven't been taught the essence of who we are. We only been taught the surface level of who we appear to be, but who we essentially are, like the cockpit, pause, or the mainframe, or the like the station of control of all of our lives, like who we are at a core essence level. Many of us have not even been told that. Many of us are told that we are the vessel, we are the cup, but the containment of the cup is just inconsequential unless it moves into the form of disease or sickness and things of that nature. So how do you rest your mind with Venus and Libra oppose Uranus? In my mind, I see it as rest and relaxation through action and passion. When I'm doing the thing that I want to do, then I'm actually in the space of joy and resting. When I'm doing the thing that I don't want to do, then I'm essentially pissed off and essentially creating negative vibrations. I really want you to understand. I don't know. I remember being in a place, being in a time, and I know people are in this place where they are doing things that they don't want to do, and they hope that they pay off eventually. How long are you going to wait for things to pay off? How long are you going to wait for that person to change? How long are you going to wait for people to respect you till you get to the point that it's just not ever going to happen? And the most important thing to do is to do it for yourself. And then how do you do it for yourself? You answer your spiritual calling by answering. You don't answer your spiritual calling by coming to the intellectual, philosophical understanding of, I have a spiritual calling, but I'm going to continue to pull up at this call center and do what I need to do to catch these checks. If you have a spiritual calling, the modality of answering it is found in action, and you shouldn't begrudgingly answer your spiritual calling. You should answer your spiritual calling in the form of a passion. But you need to be an adult about it. You cannot be a child. So essentially, when we are doing the thing that we are called to do, you essentially know that you're doing the thing that you're called to do because you feel peace. Now, if you ever find yourself in a stressful, conflicting situation, you knee deep, submersed in confusion, you don't know left from right, that's simply because you're not doing the thing that you were called to do. So why would your spirit put you at peace when you're in a toxic relationship? When your spirit know that ain't your birthright. You ever been in a toxic relationship and thought that this is it for you for the rest of your life and you don't know how to get out of that relationship? To which you don't know what to do besides continue to be stressed, continue to be in conflict, continue to be confused. What would be the solution in finding yourself in the realm of freedom? I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to do what you were called here to do, and that will be the answer. You don't have to leave from the relationship. You don't have to tell this person how they ain't shit and how you are shit. That's hierarchical, that's patriarchal, and that's conflicting, and it's confusing because at a certain point you needed that person. So how is your partner not shit and at a certain point you needed them? So clearly it's more tuning in work that we need to do to figure out what it is that we're going to do. And when we figure out what it is that we're going to do, we will do it. See, spirit is not going to tell you what you're going to do in life if you're not ready to do it. So how do you prepare and plan for spirit to tell you what you are prepared to do? Just get in the mode to actions. Just start doing shit. Start tuning into your intuition and saying, what should I do? Jumping jacks? Jumping jacks and eat Pop-Tarts. Look, I'm at the store getting goddamn frosted Pop-Tarts and I'm ready to do jumping jacks. I don't know. That's what my spirit has called me to do, and I'm going to do it. To enter your spiritual calling, you have to put action behind it. It's very simple to intellectually understand that you have a spiritual calling, but that ain't enough. Unfortunately, I wish that it was a simple solution in reference to answering your spiritual calling, but essentially you're going to have to answer it and do the work attached to it. And so Venus opposed Uranus is the subjective love that you should have simply for yourself, your homeostasis, your overall balance. Meaning that if I'm with somebody that throws me off hormonally and it causes me to be in fear, causes me to be angry, causes me to be pissed off, do you think that I should wait for that person to change? Or should I just listen to my body, follow my body, trust my body, and once I'm into an environment where my hormones respond to me in a positive energy, I will say thank you for guiding me and leading me to a place of sanctity, of salvation, of holiness. All of these things are within you, and I truly know this. And I'm sharing this message so you can truly know this as well. So moving on, Mars trine Saturn, which will take place the 25th. That is in a couple of days. This week, I've been all over the place. I've been flipped. I've been flopped. I've been doing readings. I'm telling you, we went up to northern Michigan, and it's almost as if I was bathed in the stars, family. Like the stars washed me, gave me a bath, wash out my belly button. And Spirit said, y'all really need to pay attention to y'all belly button. Just because y'all don't pay attention to it don't mean that it ain't stinking. So get a couple of Q-tips, get like some water, and, clean that thing out. But anyways, Spirit cleaned out my belly button up in my spiritual belly button, and I just feel so great. So what had happened was, doing readings, and over time, I've been doing readings for years, family. I've been doing readings for years. And so what tends to happen is you can get bogged down oracally, and you have different auric fields, right? So I can do you can do an auric cleansing with some sage. You could do an auric cleansing, take a bath. You could do all of that. And I do all of that. But you can also do a stars, like the stars can cleanse your aura. And, I just came back once we went on our trip for the full moon. And once I came back, I just came back so inspired to do readings, to share, to do videos, to do all of this shit, because I just feel fucking amazing, like at a different level. Like I feel like the stars is a part of my fucking diet, fam. Like I felt like I ate some star juice. You feel me? And now I got star nutrients. And I said, damn, I'm not going up there no more, but I gotta go up there before the end of October to tune in and tap into the energy. Might go up there for a new moon and just, I don't know, I'm addicted to the stars and the star or cleansing. It just feels so good. But moving on, this 25th, which, and I said all of that to say today, because the stars got me in a space where I don't know what today is. Today is Thursday, tomorrow's the 24th, Saturday will be the 25th. Saturn rules Saturday, so that's going to be interesting. Mars trine Saturn. Okay, looking deep into the stars as we go into the celestials, we see Sun conjunct Mars in the beginning of Virgo, so we tuned in and tapped into our Virgo energy. The Sun is exalted in the first decan of Virgo, so that means that we're getting a whole heap of Sun energy for our harvest. Now, our harvest represents the seeds that we are setting. So the things that we are doing, the business ideas that we're bringing forth, everything that we're doing should be leading up for November into December, because that's when you make the most money out here in these streets. And if you ain't got to hustle for the winter, you ain't got to hustle for the winter, fam. So you mean to tell me all this celestial energy is shining down and you ain't planted no seeds? So that means you're going to watch everybody else get crops and you're going to be hoping that they give you some of their crops, some of their harvest. I mean, it sounds like a good idea, but shit, we got the same type of garden. And your idea might not be completely fleshed out, but a seed is not a tree. A seed is not a corn stalk. A seed is small, inconsequential, don't matter until you plant it in the ground and you consistent with your watering and your nurturing. Okay, that's the Sun in the first decan of Virgo, but we talking about Mars moving into the second decan of Virgo, where it's all about gain, it's all about our personal calling, right? Because Saturn represents our 10th house. Our 10th house represents our career. And even if you're not a career-minded person, your calling is very important to you. Many people want to know what is their purpose. Many people want to know, why am I here? Saturn is the energy that says, you supposed to be a plumber. We need you to plumber. We need you to be a stripper. We need you to be a doctor. We need you to be a drug dealer. We need you to be a drug taker. We need you to be a window maker. We need you to be all of these things because we need all of these things in society. And if you choose not to answer your calling, you will receive what is called karma. And a lot of people feel like that is so wrong, Saturn, that you do this to me. You make me do the thing that I'm supposed to come here for. However, the thing that you're supposed to come here for is going to be the thing that's going to save you. Because you don't know what the hell you're supposed to do. It's too many things to decide. So essentially, you figure that part out. And you move into this, because when you move into the thing that you want to do, you become a master. And when you become a master, you become a person of power. You become a person of respect. People understand you for who you are based upon your consistency, based upon your dedication to never giving up on who you are as an individual, never giving up on your spiritual calling. And never comparing your spiritual calling to my spiritual calling or to her spiritual calling or to his spiritual calling. Your spiritual calling is divine. Your spiritual calling is the unique. Now, if Saturn is coming with the whooper on top of your head, it's all on you, fam. Don't say that you wasn't doing the things that I told you to do. You ain't doing the things that you know you ain't supposed to do. So essentially, Saturn is our psychic sense. Our psychic sense that's leading us to our highest heights. And it's essential for us to follow it. So it's easy for us to follow it when Mars trines Saturn, because Mars is the planet of action. Mars is in the second decan of Virgo, which is ruled by Capricorn and Saturn. So essentially, when we act towards our ideas, and man, maybe you don't know if your idea is going to be successful. Maybe you don't know if it's going to work. But that don't mean you're not supposed to try, fam. I don't know if rabbits is going to come eat up, eat up all my carrots. I don't know if rabbits is going to eat up all my kale. Do you mean because rabbits and rodents and squirrels and all of these things out here that we shouldn't plant gardens any longer? Or should we protect our gardens and plant the seeds anyway? So when you look at Mars, Trine, Saturn, it come up with a simple sentence, the unveiling of power. But to unveil yourself of power, you have to first understand that the power has to grow. The power has to be understood. And essentially, if you're feeling down, feeling like you messed up in the past, then you will be the blocking of that unveiling because essentially you know everything. And if you know everything about yourself and you're not surprised about your divinity, if you're not releasing your ego and tuning into your spirituality, tuning into your divinity, allowing it to teach you something new about yourself, then essentially you're saying you know everything about your baby dad, you know everything about your baby mom, there will be no unveiling of power for you. Because since if everything is doom and gloom and you know it to be doom and gloom, then you don't got really nothing to worry about. Just prepare for your doom and gloom energy. However, if you understand that there is nothing that you know in reference to anything because who you are has been hidden. We've been in these schools. They've been lying to us about our history, lying to us about our ancestors, lying to us about our psychic gifts, been telling us that none of the things that are real are not real, and the things that are real are actually fake, and all of these particular things have been putting a clamp on our minds, have been shutting down our right brain, taking music out of the school, taking sports out of the school, taking you out of school. Forget about it. Now you got to learn from your teacher into a computer screen. So what is your gym teacher going to do if you ain't doing jumping jacks correctly? What is your music teacher going to do if you ain't playing your notes right? Essentially, ain't no sense for you to work in your actual right brain faculty because we just need you to be a mutant that press buttons on the computer or answer calls from a call center for people whose computer or laptop ain't broken. Essentially, we don't really need you for much. So we don't have to teach you that much. So what I'm trying to do is try to teach you something different, but teach you something about your spiritual technology. Now, your spiritual technology is not something that you have to work hard for. Your spiritual technology is something like your ability to raise your right hand. You can bear witness to me raising my right hand, but do you know the synapses, neurons, and all of the things that took for me to raise my right hand? If I gave you the computations of a simple raising of a right hand, it would take you a year to do the mathematical computations. Yet and still, I did it in a matter of 2 seconds or less. So when it comes to your spiritual ability, you have no idea how powerful you are. But my question is, are you moving towards understanding how powerful you are, or you're just sitting in a world that you already know based upon lies that have been told to you by Western education? Now, if you do the research and if you follow your intuition, if you recognize that you are a very powerful energy, you are a very powerful Black man, you are a very powerful Black woman, you are a very powerful person, you are a very powerful soul. You don't vest in that energy, family. Let me tell y'all something. You don't vest in your power and get nothing in return for it. You don't invest in your intuition and get nothing for it. You don't hold out immediate gratification for later gratification and do not experience the later gratification. You are missing out of real gratification if you do not think that long-term gratification exists. So if you just plant the seed, it will be way more nourishing if you fucking eat the seed. Does that make sense? So essentially, the things that we have been doing, we've been preparing for since the beginning of 2020, you should have been investing in these things a long time ago. Because when things start to skyrocket moving into October, moving into November, because people have to make money, you would look like a person just came up. No, a person been plotting and planning for this in years and years in advance, maybe months in advance. So what looks like luck on the outside for you is going to look like careful, precise planning due to following your intuition, Ashe. So another aspect of this second deacon of Virgo, which is Capricornian, which is allowing you to follow your spiritual calling, you can't be broke and travel. You can't be broke and invest in your business. You can't be broke and expand. So it's important that you stop telling yourself before you go to sleep how much money you don't have. It's very important that you be secure in your financial life. And if you do not know about finances, then you have the time and energy and space to learn. The more you learn, the less you reduce your ego. The less you reduce your ego, the less you experience pain, suffering, and death. So we are elevating and activating things within ourselves that we didn't even know that we could activate because everybody has been against us, teaching us bullshit. So Mars trine Saturn is rewarding us for our hard work and dedication, and it's also giving us positive outcomes in all areas, body, mind, and soul. But are you putting in the work, or are you just waiting for things to come to you? However, if you find yourself on the outside of this conversation, you are having negative rewards, you're not getting what you want out of your relationship, you ready to quit your job, you feel like everything is over for you, it's very important that you move from them situations, move from them circumstances, move from those people, find things to which your energy can be tuned in and tapped in, at least give you a break to meditate for a second, get your mind right, because the next step is finding your spiritual calling. This isn't something for me, this is something for all of us. We really need to figure out who we are, what we came here to do, stop being subjugated, stop being isolated, stop imagining that there is this narrow gap of things for which we can do, narrow gap for things that which we can accomplish. We can do all things if we learn to be a contributing factor to this Aquarian age. So with this being said, I hope this message finds you in a place where you need it, in a place where you can elevate. Stay tuned for more content as we bring these weekly Astro Report podcasts every week on the podcast channel. Please and thank you for subscribing, sharing the video, liking the video as I continue to prepare for more readings and more sharing. I will talk to you guys a little later. And oh yeah, if you're in the mystery school, we will have a build tonight at 6 p.m. where we'll be talking about becoming like God. I put out a video yesterday, but I want to hear what everybody else has to say. So if you're interested in what everybody else has to say about the book, the breakthroughs that everybody else are having, or the criticisms or the critiques and what people don't like about the book, please join us at the Mystery School. The link will be in the description, and we'll be having a bomb talk tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on how we become like God. So with that being said, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day, evening, morning, wherever this video finds you.